TinkerCAD tip. So the other day I posted a video showing how I created this iPhone stand using the sketch tool, and a couple people commented they would like the narrated version. So in this video I'm going to do my best to show how I use the sketch tool to create this basic design, and then maybe in the video following how I created this grid work in the stand and put that in. So let's go ahead for now and let's move this out of the way. Let's take our phone object, and we're going to use this as a reference. So I'm going to click on the cruise tool, move that around, and we're just going to drop it in the middle of the build plane, holding the shift key. I'm going to rotate it around 90 degrees. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit D to drop, and I'm going to give it a slight angle, the angle at which I want it to sit in the phone rest. There we go. Zoom in a little bit here. Let's take our sketch tool and we'll put it over here on top of that phone. And the sketch tool opens, and it looks very similar to the regular work plane in TinkerCAD, except it's two-dimensional. And we can use this now as a reference. This is our phone, and I can build the stand around it. Now, the same as with the regular work plane, we also have a snap grid here. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 0.5 millimeter. And over here on the left, we have two different types of create line. We have straight line, which is 1, and we have a Bezier curve, which is number 2. And the way that we do this is we can use the cursor key here. Let's zoom in. Let's do the bottom part of this. I want it flat. So on my mouse, I'm going to click the left button. And right now, the straight line is selected. I'm going to come over here, and in the same place, I'm going to click the left mouse button again. That will draw a line. We'll zoom out. We'll come up here to just above it, and I'm going to click again. Now, at the top here, I want to form a curve. So I can come over here and I can click on this to do a Bezier curve, or I can hit the number 2. So what you want to do on a curve is when you place it, you want to hold that left mouse button down. And as you move the mouse around, it'll form the curve. Now, you don't need to be too precise here because we can come back and change this after the fact. Okay, from here I want to form another straight line. So instead of coming over here and clicking this, I can just hit the number 1. I want to come down to about here. I'm going to zoom in. I want to do another curve at the back here. So I'm going to hit the number 2. Hold the left mouse button. There we go. We'll zoom out a little bit. Hit the number 1 for straight line. We'll come out to about here. Another straight line. Another one here. Let's zoom in. I want to do a Bezier curve, so I'm going to hit the number 2. And while holding that mouse button, I'm going to get my curve in here. Zoom back out. Hit the number 1 for a straight line. Come to right about there. Back down. Zoom in. Another straight line there. Here. Come up to about here. Hit the number 2 for a curve. Rotate that around a little bit. There's a pretty good curve. Number 1 for a straight line. And we'll meet back up at our original. Now at this point, we can make all of our adjustments. So for instance, this is not quite uniform. What I can do here is I can grab, just like we do on the work plan by holding the left mouse button, I can select those 3 points And using shift or a combination of shift and cursor left or just cursor left, see how I can move those points. We can tighten that up a bit. Or for instance, back here, if I didn't like this curve, I can click on one of these points, and then using these down here, this would be straight line mode, double curved mode, and this is single curve mode. I could make any adjustments I needed to these. Let's go ahead and move this to off. We get a little bit better control of that curve. There we go. Or I could click on this one, and if I click this here, brake handles, then I have a single handle for this curve. And you can make all of your finite adjustments. For instance, I want my phone to sit higher because there's an adapter that goes in under here. So I'm going to select all of these here, and using shift and cursor down, let's change the snap grid here. Shift and cursor down, I can move that whole section of it further down, or I could move it a little more to the left. I could then take these two, make those a little farther out as well. Once you have your design finalized, click on Finish Sketch, and it'll bring it out to the work plane here. We'll hit D to drop it down to the work plane, and then of course, like any object, we can now extrude that up. Now, at this point, if I didn't quite like the design, you can still select on that and click Edit Sketch and go back into the sketch and make any other adjustments you want to make. For instance, let's say I want to tighten that up a little bit. Finish Sketch, and then the updated one will be out here. Now, the minute you make any mod to this, like adding a hole into it or cutting out a part or adding another part, you won't be able to come back to Edit Sketch again. So, there you go. That's kind of a quick tutorial on how to use the Sketch tool in TinkerCAD and make your own designs using straight lines and Bezier curves. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments. Hope to see you on the next one. Thanks.